So today we are going to focus on executing a script from controller and also uh, discuss different kind of runtime settings, how you can run a script for certain iterations, how you can run a script um, for a period of time. So when you are executing a script, let me open controller.
Quick question. Certain iteration means like from the script, we can decide, we can choose certain iteration and we can run that. That's what you mean?
So I'm bringing a controller. When you are saying that you are executing script from a virtual user generator, then this is for single user. But yeah, let me bring it and then I'll give you details explanation.
Thank you.
Yeah, give me a second. I think I was having trouble in executing it from here, so actually I'll have to go to my virtual machine again. Let me. All right, so everyone, remember last week we were working on a script sign up users V001, right? Today we are going to do a little bit more. We are going to execute that script. We are going to discuss a little bit more on different runtime settings, and also we are going to focus on analysis. Now let me bring web2 server and let me bring this script to my controller. So I will appreciate if you can focus on the screen, because after doing these things in my screen, then you'll have to do it in your computer. Okay, now first of all, you can see that I have this script here, right? Can everyone see that I have previously developed a script? Now I want to execute a test with this script. Now if I want to see this script from controller, how will I bring that script? Who can tell me?
Click there and click that one and go to the other one. There is an option for browse. So select browse and you can find this script you want to select, then add and OK.
No, I want
this one. You click that one and go to the top part controller generator something.
which one?
Left one, yeah. No. Yellow one.
Yellow one?
Yeah.
This one?
No, right, up.
Second from the
Yeah.
left, right. Yeah.
Okay. So you want me to click on this one?
Yes.
Okay. So my goal was the script that I am going to execute. I want to take a look what is the data that I have before I want to execute it. Let's say if I want to execute it for 10 virtual users, I will have to make sure that I have enough data in the script, right?
Right.
So if I want to sign up users and if I want to use 10 virtual users, then for 10 virtual users I will have to have what is the condition of the script. Now I am to take a look what is the condition of my script. Now I am using the can you see I am opening virtual user generator. Why do we use virtual user generator? To see the script. We develop our script from virtual user generator, but can you see I have opened virtual user generator, but the script is not open.
No.
Here, take a look. Like virtual user generator is open, but the script that we are going to execute, can I see that script here? No. So my goal, no, not this.
Not that one.
I am. Can you see this icon here? View script. Can you see this icon view
Right.
script?
Yes.
If you click on that one, it will be opening that particular script.
And and before that I have to select that script path.
Yes, no, you just
No.
click, you just click
Whatever
on,
script will be there.
you already have a script,
Selected, okay.
right? You just want to open this script to see what is inside that script. Yeah, view script. Now, as it is being opened, let me wait for it. Okay, now that is the script that we are going to execute, right? Now, how will I view what are the data inside that script? So we know that in the previous class we were working on this script. We have a transaction. Can you see we have a transaction for opening application, right? Then we have a think tag, and then we have a transaction for clicking on sign up, right? And then there is a think tag, and then we have a transaction for input info and submit, right? Now after that input info and submit, we have some condition. So before we have submitted the info, we have some counter here. Can you see we have saved some counter? If it is successful, if the submission is successful, then we are counting if we get that successful message. And then we have, if we get that error message, we have another counter, right? And then at the end of this transaction, we are checking whether we have the error message or we have the successful message. If we have the error message, we are giving a corresponding message, and if our submission is successful, then we are giving a message. So the purpose of the script, is it clear? You understood the purpose of the script? Now what we are doing here, we are submitting a sign up, and then if our sign up is successful, how we are verifying? Dada, can you tell me like how we are verifying our sign up is successful or not?
Runtime says welcome message.
So if it is successful,
Is showing.
Welcome to Webflow family.
well, we are getting welcome to Webflow family. If it is unsuccessful,
Is coming is.
Your user already taken.
user already taken. Now when we are submitting the information, then we are looking what message appeared, right? So how we are looking what message appeared? When you are submitting a request, then you are getting response from the server. In the response, you have either a welcome message or a user have been taken. Now what is the mechanism? The way we are verifying, what is the mechanism? Can anyone tell me?
User ID. Valid user ID or like you can see
already
breakpoint.
No, not breakpoint. The mechanism is we have set up web, red, find. Web, red, find, and we have set up counter. Can you take a look? Can you take a look at the screen here? In this request, in this particular request, we are submitting the user's registration information, right? In this particular request, we are sending what? In this particular request, we are sending users registration information, right? In this particular request, we are sending users registration information. Now, when we are submitting, can you see that we are also setting up condition here? Average find, save count, error message. So if the error message is found, then this value will be
One,
this value will be
one or zero.
what if it is found,
It's
it
not
will be
mentioned over here.
hmm?
The message will be one or zero, it's not mentioned over here. It's the each statement we mentioned.
Yeah, so we are saving it here. The value we are saving it here.
If it's error message, the
Then
message
this value will be 1. This value will be 1 if it is error message. If it is successful, this value will be 1. Then after the request, what we are doing, we are looking for if error message equal to 1, we are saying that duplicate sign up, right? And then if successful message is 1, then we are saying sign up successful, and we have added a timestamp. How did we add a timestamp?
from parameter.
From parameter, we have created a new parameter and selected date time. And from the format here, we have selected a format. We have selected, let's say 12/25/2016, 9/33/15. So it will be with the timestamp. Now, can anyone tell me what is the purpose of using this think time?
Each iteration will be there.
Not iteration. Iteration is complete script. Like each transaction is finished,
yeah.
and so the script can take a break.
It's scripted so that everyone quickly jump into the mouth. We are trying to generate real life scenario by putting the think time, right?
And like facing the timeline.
No, facing
Facing
after
it
transaction.
at the end of every iteration, when the whole script is executed once, then we are saying facing time. When the whole script is executed once, then we are giving facing time. But think time in between transaction. In between think time, where do you put think time? In between transaction, so that the script do not just go and finish everything in a second. No, we are giving it a little bit breath, so that in real life, when you use an application, you click on it, then you take a little bit time, then you do another task, then you take a little bit time, right? You do it in a. So we are trying to generate the same situation here. Now take a look here. If you take a look, I am going to bring all the think time. Now, can someone tell me if they see any issue with this think time? Can you see any issue with this think time?
The third time is too long.
The third one is too long.
Yeah.
So that is an unexpected.
Wait time.
That is an unexpected wait time. We, as I said, generally when we do performance testing, we put a 20-second think time, and then we randomize it. You have seen how when we execute test, how we randomize think time, right?
Yeah.
We put, let's say, 50% to 150%. But here we do not want to keep it waited for long time. That's why we put how many think time? 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
But there is one think time in line number 3. You can see that 254. Think time 250. That is an unexpected think time. I'll have to remove that. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to remove that think time. I'm going to keep this think time. I'm going to keep this think time to see how it affects my execution. How it affects my execution. When you execute, how it is increasing unnecessarily, it is increasing the transaction response. Now, take a look. I'm not going to put it like 254. Instead, I'm going to put it 20 seconds. Okay. So this 20 second is in between inside a transaction. Can you see input, info, and submit? Can you see this? So I am starting a transaction here, and then I am ending a transaction up here. But inside this transaction, we are submitting data. Besides, we have a think time to see how it affects my execution. Is it understandable? Now let me see how many data I have. If I go to P user ID, let's take a look how many data I have. So how many I have? Let's say, how do you verify how many data you have? How do you, let's say, how many line of user ID you have, you are trying to register?
Inside data, but how to count how many data we already inside?
You don't have to go to.
Runtime setting, you can do that addressing number. No? If you go to Excel, then I can see the numbers from the left.
So from this one, how can we see how many data we have from this one? Because we are not going to Excel, we are using this one.
View.
Hmm?
View.
Okay, view then.
Ask the exam. Then I have no idea.
No idea?
No.
What is this?
Oh, I see. Line 1.
So we have how many line here?
We don't know. So
101.
that's
We have how many line here?
101.
How many?
101.
1.
Yeah.
So that means
So,
here our cursor is here. So what is the line number here? 1. So how many data we have?
101.
No,
100.
100, because the first line is,
User.
remember, the first line is the column heading.
Oh, the parameter name.
Yeah, parameter name.
User.
Right? Can you see here? The first line is the
User.
user ID, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So how many data we have here?
100.
100. Okay. Now let's take a look. So we have, as you can see, that we have, if error message is 1, then we are saying duplicate sign up, right? If we get that error message, ID is taken, right? But let's say, let me go to that application. Let me go to that application, click on sign up. Let me keep this field empty. Let me put a password. 11111. Sorry. 1111. Right? Continue. So still we are getting username is taken, right? So that means if even if it is an empty, still we are getting username is taken. So that should not. I am trying to bring another situation. So if you put something, let's say if you do not put password, this message is correct. This empty user, this application is test application. There is already one user registered with empty name. Okay, that's why it is saying that message. Okay, so now can you see that if you do not supply password, it is saying your password is invalid, right? Okay. Now what I am going to do here, can you see in our script we are giving the password here in the script, right? Password, confirm password, right? We are giving the password in the script. But what if I want to parameterize this password? How will I do that?
When I go to parameter,
Sending parameter.
Parameters, okay.
Okay.
And then how many parameters I will have to give? 100, right? Let me do one thing. Let me see if I have Excel here. I don't have Excel, so let's do, okay, I can open Excel from here.
So why are you having problem opening from the base machine?
Controller, the opening from the base machine is controller doesn't work for my business.
Oh, your one.
Yeah. So that's why I brought controller. Now take a look one thing here. I am going to generate the password from Excel again. Now what is our password? I can give any password, but generally we use L123455. Now let me bring it. How many password I need?
100.
Will they be different or?
Yeah, it will be different, like last numbers can be different. Yeah.
No, we want to keep it all the password
Same.
same. Or let's say we want to give, okay, we want to keep it all the password same, right? Now I'm going to copy this password and then I'm going to go to my computer in the shared drive and performance testing. So what is that script? That script is
Is it better to save it on shared drive? Is it better to do it on shared drive?
if you need to execute it from your virtual machine,
Virtual machine,
it's
yeah.
better you save it in the shared drive. Otherwise you will have to move them in the shared drive if you do not save it there. Now take a look one thing here. So this is the script that we are working, right? This script we are working, right? Okay. Now what I am going to do, remember this is totally another new thing that you are learning. Okay.
Same
Now
password.
see, I have text pad. Can you see I have text pad? I am opening text pad. Then take a look here. I am opening a new document. I have all the password here, right? Okay. Then you come here. You bring that. This is your original script. Sign up users, right? So inside that script, what is the name of the parameter file? P user ID. This one, right? Go to your text pad. Come here. And then bring this P user ID file here. Okay? Understood? Okay, sure. So what I'm doing
Like
here.
1 and 2 and
Only
3
for
step by
like
step.
for your
This
situation.
is Nafisa.
Yes, go ahead, Nafisa Bhabi.
Little bit, if you just reverse little bit, the log which you have chosen is the user dot add. That's from the node. Node is parameterization. Am I right?
Yes. So what I'm trying to do, Nafisa Bhabi.
Here.
I am.
On the chat folder, just show me quickly again, just little bit, just 2 steps. If we go and do it.
Sure.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
So what you want to see how I am opening the parameter file?
Yes.
Okay.
From the here folder, I got it. Just PDF step. I just wanna.
Okay, sure. Let me close everything. Now everyone, you will have to process these parameters. You will have to have this. You will have to have this. What is called TextPad. This TextPad software.
Is it different software?
Yeah, this is a different software. This TextPad. If you go internet, if you look for TextPad, you will get it. You can do many things.
This is for the virtual, when you use the virtual machine?
Yeah, no, TextPad you can use. You can download TextPad in your local computer. You have to download. Now take a look here.
That's helpful for this.
I'll tell you how it is helpful. But first take a look. You'll be doing it in your computer today. Okay, I'll give you a chance. Now take a look in TextPad. In TextPad, I'm opening this TextPad. Then what I'm doing, can you?
1 second. What did you click to open it?
I just when you have TextPad installed,
Right.
you can go there. You can go there, TextPad. You open TextPad,
Okay.
right? You have opened TextPad. Then you come here. You bring that existing parameter file. We already have a parameter file. But if you do not want to bring it, we can do it another way. So what I can
1 second. Hold on.
okay.
And what is second step right now?
So I bought that parameter file, right?
Right.
Is it clear? Then what I'm going to do, can you see here this data? So I want to put the passwords here, L1 2 3 4 5. So if I have 100 parameter, what I will have to do, I will have to put everything one by one. I have to put,
Right.
but I do not want to do it in that way.
You're gonna use another column.
So what I'm going to do, I can do it in multiple way, but let me show you one of the thing that I'm going to follow here. Now these are the users, right?
Right.
These are the users. Now I'm going to go to my Excel. Here I will insert entire column here, and then I will be putting the users here. Can you see what I am doing? I have the users, and then I have the password together. Is it understandable? Now what I am going to do, I am going to take everything from this one, okay, and then I am going to go to that parameter file. This is my parameter file, right? This is my parameter file. I am going to paste it here. Okay. Now, how many parameters I have here? P, user, ID. So how many parameters I have here?
You should have 100.
And actually no, here in terms of P user ID and P password, so how many parameter I have here? Number of parameter is 100, but can you see 2 parameter I have here? Each of the parameter will have to be separated by comma. Now do you think I will be replacing, I will be going line by line and put comma?
I will be doing the same way, start then.
So what I am going to do here, I am going to click Ctrl H. See what I am doing here.
H like hotel,
Yeah,
H like Henry,
yeah, Henry, yeah. Now take a look here. I am selecting that space, pressing Ctrl H, and then can you see here, if you replace all, can you see all of the spaces gone and they are replaced with comma? And then at the end of the parameter, what I will have to have? I will have to have a empty line. Then I am going to close it. Now let's go to the virtual machine. Let's close this and let's come here. parameters. Now can you see I have P user ID, P password both, right? And here I am going to create another parameter. I can see I have it in the file, but in the parameter list, do I have a P password?
No.
I am going to create a password called P password. Okay, and then I am going to select, instead of creating a table, I am going to select browse, and where is my parameter file? In this P user ID file, I am going to click OK, right? And then here by name it will be P password, and it will be password is same line as P user ID. So here I will be selecting same line as P user ID, and here I am going to put, instead of this password, I am going to put P password. I am going to put P password. Right, and then
No,
let,
you missed D. Yeah, right there.
okay, okay, sure, thank you. Now take a look one thing here. Now these user IDs, they already, we have already what? We have already registered them.
Okay.
This user ID we already have registered them. So if I want to remove this user ID, if I want to put new user IDs, what I will have to do?
Just add,
We already have registered them.
add numerical value
You
to
can
it.
change from parameter.
How will I do that? Will I be doing it manually, one by one? No. How I am going to do that? Let me show you. I am going to go to my Excel again, right? Now let's say I am going to open, actually let's clear everything, Ctrl X. Let me clear everything, clear content. Okay, now my first, what was my first user ID? Auto. What, if you take a look at the script, what was my first user ID? Auto 101. So let's say I want to start auto 201.
So you using the new registered user ID.
Auto, yeah, auto 201. And then let's, how many I'm going to put?
What are you on?
100. 100. Okay, then I'm going to copy them. Let me go to that parameter file from TextPad. Now how will I bring TextPad? Okay, now let me, what is my parameter file? Parameter file, remember, it is always inside your script. Is inside your script. Now I am going to bring the parameter file here. Now I do not want this 101. Instead, what I want?
201.
201. So I already have copied. I already have copied this. Okay, I already have copied this value. So how will I remove this 101 and put? Will I put one by one?
Select all and then you paste it.
So
Or you can go
yeah,
to-
let me do. How will I select all?
Oh, okay. So on why issue delete password, only user ID.
Only user ID. How will I do that? I want
Control
to Control H now. How Control H will work
You're
here?
gonna reinsert, right?
No, because every that is different.
So you're gonna
So
reinsert. and
one
you're gonna
column will be
Yeah,
out, not the other one.
other one.
So we have to delete one column, that's all.
If I delete one column, then
Then insert and
let me show you. Let me show you one way here. Remember, this is a very useful way. So you right click here. Can you see block select mode? Can you see this block select mode? You select block select mode, and then now you can only, if you select block select mode, can you see? right? Now you right click here. Can you see insert, paste as a block? Can you see 2 and everything is right? Okay, so what you want to do, that's it. Now you go practice it. You install TextPad. Take a look here. Now I'm going to close these browsers. Where is your script, Ripababi?
The user?
Yeah, the script. Where is your script located? Not this, like for the this script is for user registration, right?
I joined the class really late, so I just downloaded. I mean, you go ahead, I'll follow your video.
Oh, okay, okay,
I don't
all right.
want to bother people. I don't want to take their time. I joined about 30 minutes late.
Oh, okay, okay. All right then. Yeah, follow my video. That's fine. Now let me, Nafisa, are you able to do it?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I just told you that I'm trying. I'm trying to.
Let me make you presenter. Let me make you presenter. Could you share it? Ripababi, go ahead.
One
Uh-huh.
So after you download the thing, like the Excel text file, so what's the text? What should I do? Just tell me.
So what I'm looking from you, you create your file, parameter file with 100 users, and you put your password in the parameter file too.
Oh, so not only user ID, that's what.
Not only user ID, but also the password also will be in the parameter file.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Nafisa, could you open your script for the registration?
Can I heat the water?
Okay, let them donuts out.
I know. Okay, now let's say everyone take a look here. I'm doing the same process here. Now, can you give me control?
Oh, give me 1 second, Conrad. This script is for my this one.
I want to work on this one, Navisababi. I am going to work on this one.
Okay.
All right, give me control. I'm just trying to show this parameter setup by TextPad. If you take a look here,
Okay.
let me. So everyone,
Yes.
take a look here. Now I cannot see your screen, Navisababi. Let me take.
Yes. But Conrad, you want me to pull the script with the if condition? This one is not with the if condition. The other one with the if condition.
Yeah, can you open that one?
Yeah. What's that? Oh, actually, view control. Okay. Open. Wait. Come on. Alright, this is with the if condition. Okay, and
Okay, something happens to 100, right?
alright, did you get the control?
Yeah, I got the control. Now, I didn't get the control yet. Let me take the control. Okay. So if you take a look here, that in the parameters we have what? We have the user IDs, right? But how many user ID we have?
Well, for me, like to share, I had only 4, but I can do it. And I can bring it no problem at all.
But how many user ID we need? We are going to do it for 100 ID.
Yes.
Please follow this sequence by sequence. What I am doing here. So first, I am going to create a parameter file. I am going to create a parameter file that will have 100 user ID and then 100 password. Right? I am following everything step by step. Now, if you go to Excel, let me bring Excel. Now, let me open a new document. Okay. Now, I want to create, let's say, auto 101 to what?
So, I can see the screen. It's only for you and Nafisa, but I cannot see the middle of the screen.
You cannot see the Mikiko screen. Can you see I am working on Excel?
No.
No?
Do you want me to get, no. Do you want me to get out and log in? Log out and log out?
No. Hold
I
on.
think, yes.
Hasina Babi, can you see the screen? Hello?
Jungjabi, can you see the Excel? Yes, I can see the screen.
You can see the screen?
Alright, I'll log out and log back. No problem.
Yeah, could you join back? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, now take a look here. I have created 100 users. Right? I have created 100 users. Now what I will have to create again? I will have to create 100 password.
Password.
So how will I do that? Same way, right? Now for the password, do I want separate password or same password? So
Same password.
what will I do here to make it same password? So I will select this and copy cells. Now I am going to copy everything here. Oh, it is different password.
Yeah.
So I'll have to make the password same. So let me go there again. Okay, now copy cells. Now I have the same password, right? Now I am copying everything from here and going back to text pad. I am pasting it here. Right? Now I'll have to give the parameter name. Republic, can you see now?
Yes, I
Okay. Now let's give it a name. So this is P user ID, right? And then comma P password, right? Now in between, can you see in between the user ID and password there is a space. I am going to press Ctrl H. Now it is not working. Remember when you have installed TextPad for the first time, you will have to go to, can you see configure? configure, can you see preferences? And can you see keyboard? Let's see in keyboard. No, not this one. Let's say editor. In editor, you will have to select keystroke compatibility. You will have to select Microsoft application. Microsoft application, apply and OK. And then here you will have to select Control H. Now you want to replace that space with comma. Replace all.
Just select
Select the space
Yeah.
and then Control H.
Control H.
Okay. Find what? Comma.
Control H, find.
Comma.
No.
No, first you select the
Space. Select the empty
I already-
space and
yeah.
press Control H.
Yeah.
And then when you press Control H, find what? What did you get in find
Comma.
what? Can you
Replace with comma.
replace with comma? Yeah. Were you able to do that?
No, the all option is invisible. Like I cannot do like.
Okay, give me one second. So the purpose here again, what I did here, I removed password for two of the parameters.
Okay.
And you have seen that from the script, if I do not give a password, then it say password is invalid. Now in our existing script, what we have, in our existing script we have, if I get a welcome message, then my registration is successful. If I get a error message, my registration is unsuccessful. But still both of these we have catch and our script will not fail here, right? But if I get something else, if I do not get that user is taken, if I do not get that, your successful, registration is successful. So if I do not get any of them, I'm getting what? I'm getting an invalid password. So I'm going to put a else condition here. I'm going to put a else condition here. Else I'm going to put, remember when I got error message, right, that user is taken, I put output message that user is taken. But if you get something else and if you want to make the test case fail, what you want to do, you want to give a error message here. Instead of output message, you want to give error message, and then you want to say invalid password, right? Actually let me not give a, okay, let me keep this error message. So what I want to do, I want to put invalid password, and I want to fail the script. If invalid password, I want to give an error message, and then I want to what I want to do here, lr exit and here lr exit iteration and continue. and then here I have to give LR fail. So see here, I am bringing two new statement here. The first statement is okay. Now take a look here. So I am bringing a new statement LR error message, and then I am bringing another statement LR exit here. Now what I am trying to do, if I do not put a password, then I want to give invalid password, and then I want to fail the test case. Remember here, for this it will not fail our test case, but for this it will fail our test case because of the error message and this LR failed. Now let me go to parameters. I am going to execute it for this line. Take a look here. If I want to execute it for line number 3, what I will have to do?
You have to change the
To go line, first line, first data line is
runtime address.
First data line I want to give. First data line. See, I want to execute the script for line number 3. Hello, who joined? Hello,
Nahid.
who joined to the call?
Nahid.
Oh, no. I didn't know that you will be joining because you missed a couple of class, right?
Yeah, because I had problem, I told you.
Okay.
But I started coming to class again.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, some people, they are joining from online. They let me know that they will be joining online. So I thought that I just send them only those session ID. So thank you for joining. And I didn't know that you will be joining. Otherwise, I will be sending you the session ID earlier. Now take a look here.
Oh,
So if I execute it for line number 3, if I want to execute it for line number 3, what I will have to do here? First data line, line number 3. Okay. Now let me show you. If I execute it, how many iteration I want to execute it for?
One.
I want to execute it for 1 iteration. So let me do it.
Tom, if you can minimize this because
Sure.
thank you.
Now we have a think time. Can you see here this think time? 20. This think time is inside a transaction. Okay. Now take a look here. So can you see your password is invalid, and can you see success message is 0, error message is 0. Now let me go there. Now let me make the screen bigger. Now if you take a look here, so this condition is not true, right? Error message is 0, it's not 1. If error message is 1, then it will come to line number 79. So it didn't go to line number 79. Now success message, is it 1?
Which line is error? Which line is error message?
Can you see in line number 77?
Not the big.
CNT error message. Can you see CNT error message? CNT error message, it is.
Oh, I got it. 77. Yeah, 77. Yeah, that was the line I was mentioning.
Now it is saying that, can you see another warning message here? This warning message here, can you see this? The string CNT error message with parameter delimiter is not a parameter. Why? Why is that? Because take a look here. Take a look here. CNT, can you see that I have a spelling mistake here? Yeah, so I have a spelling mistake here, multiple spelling mistake here. CNT error message, I gave it CT, and so I'll have to correct that. So when I am trying to use this, can you see here in line number 77, when I am trying to use CNT error message, it is saying that CNT error message is not a parameter because I have captured a parameter that is CT error message. So what I will have to do, I will have to go there, I will have to change it. Now instead of this I am going to put, right? Now let me execute it. Yeah, your name is not matching. Now take a look here. So we are in that 20-second think time. Can you see we have 20-second think time, but it is here going for a think time for 25.99. What is the reason?
There is more time.
Now what I am saying, I have a think time in line number 49, 20 seconds, but it is taking a think time of 25.99.
That means taking more time.
Why?
Because your CNT was incorrect, that's why.
No.
Iteration time.
No. This think time in the script I have 20 seconds.
Okay.
But when I am executing, it is taking, can you see from this line, it was taking 25.99. It is taking more. Can you see? It is taking for line number 49. Can you see line number 49? This is line number 49. From line number 49, can you see here this log from line number 49? It is taking 25.99 seconds, right?
Yes.
But we have 20 seconds. Why? I'll tell you. Okay, now come to the point. Now so if you come here, what did we get? CNT successful 0, CNT error message 0. Now here I'm checking if error message equal to 1. If error message equal to 1, is it 1? Is it 1?
Error message is good. Yes. Error message is equal to 1.
No, it is, what do we got? We got 0. So it will go to the
Oh, we got 0, but its error message is equal to 1.
yeah. So it will be going to the
Next line.
so if you take a look at runtime viewer, can you see we are getting your password is invalid. So we are getting a different message. Okay. So we have set up a condition here that if none of the two condition is true, then it will be coming here. What it will do, it will display a error message. Can you see here when I have executed line number 85, we are seeing here an error message, right? And then it will be exiting out and our script will be failed. Okay. Now let me give you answer. While I have 20-second wait time, why it is giving 25.99. So if you go to runtime settings and if you take a look at think time settings, can you see we have 50% to 150% think time?
Right.
Can you see that, everyone? 50% to 150%. So it will be, sometimes it will be, if we have a 20-second think time, it will be a random think time from 50% to 150%. So it could be less than 20 seconds or it could be higher than 20 seconds. Okay.
So, look, if you want to that 50 to 100%.
Yeah.
Why, or is it okay?
Why now question here, why we are giving think time 50 to 150%, right?
Yes, yes.
So what we are saying, if your script has a think time of 20 seconds, if your script has a think time of 2 seconds, it will be making this 2 second 50%, sometimes 50%.
Yes,
So if you make it 50%, it will be 1 second think time, right?
yes.
Sometimes it will make it 120%, sometimes it will make it up to 150, up to 100, it will make it up to 100, 150%. Now can you see this? Can you see this? Like this was actually 2 seconds. So it is you know, it has multiplied because of our think time settings over there. Because of our think time settings 50% to 150%, although we have given what is the question?
100 users, this is done. 100 iterations. Yeah.
Okay, not 100 iterations. Now take a look here that our script, if we provide a invalid password, right? Now we have a condition where we are checking if it is invalid password, our script will be failed. Our script will be failed. Why it will be failed? Because if it is invalid password, in our script we have put a condition that error message invalid password, and then here we are exiting out. See, by this line 85 we are putting a error message. Now if you take a look here, can you see one replay error? One replay error. What is that replay error? That replay error is this error message. Yeah, invalid password. And then after that we are exiting out. Now if you if you do not put that LR fail, if you put LR pass, then see what happens. If I execute it again, hey guys, could you hear me? It seems like I am disconnected from the call.
You entered 727903276.
Okay.
If this is correct, press 1. To re-enter your app, there are 3 participants in this conference. Please announce yourselves.
Hey, I was disconnected. Please.
Yeah, alright.
Hey Nipa.
The whole class is waiting for you to call.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The line got disconnected. Okay. Now take a look here. Take a look here. So what I'm going to do here. Now instead of LR fail, I have put here LR pass. Okay. I'll give the error message, but my script will still my script is passing, but I'm getting one replay error. Why is that replay error? Because I put LR error message here. Now I am putting LR error message because it is a deliberate error message. I want to I put a deliberate error message to show you how this error message statement works. How this error message statement works. If you want to display an error message for a certain condition, you can do that. If you want to put a error message for certain condition, you can do that.
So this changes I can compare with the report that the report event.
Yes, where you put meet fail, remember? So this error message is same thing. It will put an error message. It will fail you statement here. Okay. Now, and then if you have, take a look, what is the purpose of this alarm exit? So if you have another 100 line after that, if you have an LR exit, it will not go for those lines. It will be if you have an LR exit, it will be stopping.
So you're not running all.
So if there is any error, then I don't want to move forward anymore.
Okay.
That's why I am putting LR exit. Okay. Now this script I am going to take it to the controller and then I am going to execute it. Now let's take a look. I am going to go to my controller again. Now let me refresh.
Is it possible to minimize the recover, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me minimize it. Now let's take a look. I will have to refresh this. I changed something over there. How will I refresh that script? I will click on. Okay, hold on. Cancel. So what I am going to do here? File, browse, and this is my script. Okay. So my script. How did I do that? I click on the down arrow browse and then I brought the script from there. Click OK. Okay. Now let me close it. Let me close everything. Now if I want to open that script again, how will I do that? I will click on that script icon here and then I want to make sure that the script that I am going to execute, it has the right code that I am looking for. Okay. Now can you see we have that exit here? So that means we are good. We are in the right script and I am going to close it. Now how many data I have in that script? How many data I have in that script?
You want to say one, right?
Let-
The third line you want to execute?
No, now I am executing it from controller. I want to execute it multiple times. Okay. Now if you go back, I am going back to the script itself. Let me go there. Now in the parameters, if I go to user ID, right? Can you see it will be starting from 3 now, but I will have to start from beginning. So make sure when you are changing something, you are going back to the first line. And if you go to edit with notepad, how many line of data I have here? 102. How many line of data I have? 102. But this is empty line and the first line is the name of the parameters. And remember how many invalid password I have? 2, right? Okay. Okay. Now I want to execute this script. If I want to register, if I want to give a try for all of these users, how many users I am putting here?
10.
How many users I am putting? 10. Now 10 of the users, how many times they will have to execute?
10 times.
10 times.
10 times.
For I have 10 users to finish this. Remember, to finish this 100 data, how many iterations each of the users will have to work? 10 times. So now if you want to make sure that all the data is successfully registered, what you will have to do? You will have to go to runtime settings. Okay. Results directory already. Oh no. Okay. Cancel. You will have to go to your you will have to go to your design, and can you see this is your runtime settings, and in runtime settings you will have to select, can you see run logic, how many iterations you want.
10.
You will have to select how many iterations you want. But there is another way. If you select run, let's say if I select 10 iteration, okay, click OK, and then come here. If I select, can you see run duration? Now I can select run until completion. Then what it will do? It will be executing 10 iterations and then it will be exited out. But if I say run until completion, so what is the criteria for completion?
That means until they finish it.
Until finish. Now what is that until? How long it will be running?
10 iterations.
10 iterations. When 10 iterations will be done, it will be exited out. Is it understandable? Right?
So B user is 10.
10.
And iteration is 10.
Iteration is 10. Iteration is 10 for what? Because we have 100 data.
100
So to finish that 100 data, each of the user will have to work 10 times. Now if you do it by iteration, then you will have to give run until completion. If you
Wait, one quick question. It tells like it's total 10 P user. If I have like P user like a 20 or 50, so I can run twice. Then
Yeah.
If I have 10 users, then I have to, for 100 times I have to do it 10 times.
10 times, yes. But if you have 50 users in this tool, we cannot go beyond 10 users. Because this is
No,
a
I know. System is already like that. They give you the option for 10 users. But I'm just saying the real life.
Mhm.
If I do have the option. So if I have the option, let's say I have 50 users
Mhm.
and I have 500 data. So can I do 10 times, right? The 50 user one time, 50 user two times. Can I do it that way?
yeah, you can do that way.
Alright.
But one thing here, if you are selecting iteration, then you will have to select run until. What you will have to do?
Oh, okay. Everything.
So if you do iteration, then you will have to select run until completion. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now what I am going to do, load generator. How do I do load generator? Localhost, right?
Local.
If I want to select localhost, I select in that way. Now I want to execute, but before I execute, I want to save my log somewhere. Can you see results settings? Now I want to save my results, browse, and then I want to save it. Let's say,
Share there.
yeah, I want to save it in shared drive, and here I have a folder called performance testing. Here I will be creating, actually let me go there. Let's see, performance testing. Do I have a folder called results? Okay, so I'm going to save my results in this performance testing folder, and I want to give in this 2016. What is today's date? 25. And let's say results. Okay, now I am going to click OK. Now if I execute it, right, I am executing it. Okay, my execution has started. Everyone, you are missing something by talking.
No,
You are missing something.
I'm with you at simple, but I try to save my results.
Oh, okay.
Particular
Failure. Okay. Now take a look here. Our execution has started, right? Now, if I want to view something, how many views are running? Can you see users are 4 right now? Why? All of our users are not starting at the same time. Why? Because we ask it every 2 users, every 10 seconds. So that's why the users are going one by one. Can you see one error here? Now if I go to,
Yes.
if I go there, if I go there, let me see what is that error message. Right? Can you see invalid password? What is that error message? Can you see, everyone?
Yeah, the
Invalid password?
We want to see that.
We want to see that error message, right? Is it understandable? Now,
Yeah. One of our 249 was empty, exactly.
yeah. So that's why we are seeing that error message. Okay. Now, let's come to, now all of our 10 users are working. Now let's take a look. B users. Can you see B users? Go to there. Now can you see how many B users running here? 10 B users running. 10 B users. Can you see already 10 B users? Can you see this run icon? Yeah, they are running already. They are already running. Okay. And then if you come here, so how many iterations each of the user will be running? How many iterations each of the user will be running? How many iterations? 10 iterations, right? So by run until completion, is it like now the concept is everyone understood? What is run until completion? Run until completion is if you set up, okay, I want that many iterations, and then if you say run until completion, each of the users will be running that many iterations. Now there is another setup, run for a certain time, right? We already have practiced run until 35 minutes, 10 minutes in the last class.
Yes, I know.
Right? Okay. So your question in the beginning of the class.
I don't understand this. Now it's clear.
Clear? Okay. Alright. So let me now, after this execution will be done. See, today we have brought some new concept like what is error message, what is exit, iteration and continue, right? And then when we have brought like how to use extract for setting up parameters. Now when this execution will be done, I am going to bring the analysis. I'll be giving more explanation. The remaining part of the class will be explaining the analysis part.
Okay, before you go to analysis, then I have to make sure that from the controller it's running right? I have to go.
I think if you can do it from your home,
Okay.
you do it from your home because I want to cover some part. If you cannot do it from your home, you can let me know. I'll be.
Okay, no problem.
Okay? For everyone, if you cannot do it from your home, everything is being recorded. So if you cannot do it from home, I'll be
We
assisting.
are doing it hopefully, when you, I think if it complete, hopefully ours is also complete.
You are running as well?
Yes.
Very good. Now take a look here. How many error messages I have?
So,
2 error messages. Can you see we have 2 error messages? Now if I go to take a look, what is this error message? Can you see both of the error messages? Can you see how many? Total message 2. Now if you click on it, can you see both of the error messages is, if you double click on it, invalid password. We have put 2 invalid password, and we have catched that in our script by putting a if condition, right? So these 2 error messages is expected. I wanted to show you 2 error messages when you analyze how you bring the error message. So that was the purpose. So you have one empty. Yeah. Go ahead.
So if it empty, the value is empty, then it will show you error message. But if you do the wrong data, it will show the error message, right? The same thing.
Again,
Use the number 3 and some of the numbers. You just keep the line empty. Just didn't write anything.
yeah, so in our, Bhavi, if you take a look in our parameter file, let me go to our parameter file. Can you see I have kept 2 line empty?
That's yes, like that.
So because of this 2 line empty, when the parameter part is empty, then we are not getting success message or error message. Instead, we are getting a different message. For this, we do not have any condition. Then we put it in the else block of the script.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, like number 3 and number 8, you keep it empty. If you write just beside empty, if you write like L1, it still it will show you the error message because the wrong data, right?
Yeah. Now take a look here. So when we are supplying a registration without the password, then we are getting this message. Otherwise we get two messages. Either we get, let's say if you put auto 00 auto 101, and let's say you put password L12345, continue. So if you do not have the, I'll have to put the password here, L12345. If you already have the user registered, you get that user is taken. But if you, let's say if your user is not taken, you get success message. So we already captured these two conditions, but we have added another condition when it say user is your invalid password, we put it in the else block. Now let me go to my execution in the controller. Everyone, can you see one thing here? Running B users, our execution is done now. Now can you take a look here from the response time? Input data and submit. For this transaction, can you see something different? Input, info and submit. What was the time it took? Can you see? Average it took 19.81 seconds. Right?
Yes, then 20.
Okay. Take a look this one. It took this script, this transaction, input, info and submit, it took average what?
19.
No, this is 30 point something.
Average. Look at this average speed.
19.81.
Okay. Now as my execution is done, what I am going to do? Where will my result saved? I'll be going there, over there, and then I have a folder called performance testing, and then this is my result folder, right? You open this. Now can you see this analysis icon? Right? You open this. So when you have opened this, it is preparing the analysis for you. Now you come here. From this summary of the execution, what is the idea it gives us? From this summary of the execution, what is the idea that we get? What is the information we are getting from this summary?
You're looking for total error.
Total error, then runtime.
That is summary is 5 minutes.
By
And the result
six
is
items.
how
Yeah,
long it
I mean
takes.
5 items to look at average 12 bytes. Taking
And then why the
And
proper
runtime.
is they do not use this syntax?
total
So
error.
that's all.
Okay.
Duration.
Pass, fail, no data.
Pass fail, we can see all the.
Service level
Hit
agreement.
per second.
Okay.
Total hit.
Now let's say for one of the idea that we want to bring here, 98th percentile. But let me discuss each and everything here one by one. Can you see that the test executed for how long? This time period.
Start.
I'm going
30%.
to I'm going to bring a PowerPoint. So I'm going to prepare, actually I'm going to prepare a sample report of this analysis. Normally when you are done with an execution, you prepare a report and you send it to different team. Now let me go to my base machine. Let me close this Excel, and normally what we do, we prepare a PowerPoint slide with the analysis report. But I am going to open this analysis from my folder here. So what is the analysis requires performance testing? This is my performance testing folder, and where is my analysis folder? This one. Let me open this analysis from the base machine, because I will be preparing the report here.
For the report, we have to use PowerPoint, right?
You can use PowerPoint, you can use Microsoft Word, but we will be using PowerPoint here to make a presentation.
In your workplace, you use PowerPoint?
PowerPoint, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Now take a look here that we are generating this analysis here. While it is being generated, okay, now can you see this 90th? Okay, let's come from the beginning. Now I'm going to create a PowerPoint presentation with the result of this execution. Now let me create a new blank presentation. Okay, so for this blank presentation, I'm going to delete all of the thing from here. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this is my slide. If I go to design and format background, right, then I'm going to bring a picture, right, picture I'm going to bring from file. Let's say I have somewhere in my computer some of the performance and go there, performance testing slides. Not this one, I have another image somewhere. So I think I'm going to bring this. So I'm going to prepare a report. With, in my slide, in the background, I will have this image. Can you see how I got that background image? So I went to design, and then from there I select picture texture field, and then from file I have a file somewhere saved. So I have selected this as a background. Now here I'm going to bring insert. I'm going to bring a text box. Okay. So in this text box, I am going to write what is this report. What is this report about? So this report, let's say performance testing report, okay, and make this text performance testing report, and over there I'm going to select text size, let's say 48, okay. Performance testing report, and what is the project name? I'm going to put the project name as well here. The project name is, let's say, is it web tools, right? HP web tools application, okay. Now let me make this, okay, HP web tools application, and let's say I'm going to put performance engineer who, let's say student 1. Then I'm going to duplicate slide, and here I'm going to put, instead of this I'm going to put application overview. Application overview. So I'm going to write something about the application. So this application is a test application that comes with HP load runner. It has some functions for reserving flights, okay, reserving flights, okay. User can reserve flight by using this application, okay. Then I'm going to duplicate this. This is again what I am writing in this section. What I am writing in this section? Application overview. Okay. Then I am going to duplicate this slide. In the next slide, I am going to write performance overview. Performance overview. Now what is the purpose of this performance testing? The purpose of this performance testing is to verify the performance of HP web tools application. Okay.
How do you go to the slide?
You do right click on the slide and select the sequence. Okay. So were you able to do that?
Here or there?
Select right options are there. Click right click. So you click to cursor out. Now, so the first slide we did, like we have written, okay, this is the in the first slide you can see that we have written performance testing report. We give the project name, performance engineer information, and then in the next slide we have provided a little bit application overview. In the next slide we are providing performance overview. What is the purpose of this performance testing? The purpose of this performance testing is to verify the performance of HP Web Tools application. Let's say HP Web Tools application is going through some modification, code modification. So the purpose is the new code modification is not degrading the performance, right? So our goal is to verify that the application satisfy all of the performance criteria. Okay, the application verify all of the performance criteria. Now we are talking about a performance criteria. What is this performance criteria? What is this performance criteria? Any idea?
So which you will perform the application? We will perform the execute the application.
So the performance criteria, by the term performance criteria, we are specifically mentioning that what is the time that we are looking for. What is the performance? By the term performance criteria we are mentioning, let's say, let's go to that. Let's say I have a test case. Okay, so when we are doing performance testing, we get the test cases from the business team. They mention, remember in the beginning slide, we have for each of the transaction we have a expected intent, right? Now let me insert another to the right. Now let me make it smaller. Let me make it more smaller. So this table I'll have to make it now. Let me make it smaller here. Now expected response time. So let's say for these steps our expected response time is 1. For this one our expected response time is 1. For this one our expected response time is 2 seconds. So this is performance criteria. This is performance criteria. When we are executing a test, our expected goal is to get the response within 1 second, and 2 seconds.
So basically the test case.
The test case, and we are putting our expectation. Like what is the response time we are looking for? What is the response time we are looking for? 1, and 2. Then, so this test case, we are opening application, click on sign up button and inputting information and submitting. This is the test case that we did in our performance test. Now let's come and let's say virtual users expected concurrency what? Expected concurrency 10 virtual users. Expected concurrency 10. That means we will have 10 concurrent users. Now let's go back to our report. So here our goal is to verify that the application satisfy all of the performance criteria. Now there could be different performance criteria. We are mentioning here only one performance criteria, that is response time. We can have multiple performance criteria. Okay, we will make it simple. Now we give the performance overview, and then I am going to create another slide where I will be mentioning execution. I will be execution details. Okay, execution details, and I will make this one bigger. Execution details. Now let me come here, execution details. Now execution details, what I will do here, in execution details I will be putting another text box where I will be putting the details of the execution. Now what is the details that we have? If you go back to your analysis, test execution period, this one, right? You copy this and then you go to your slide. So this is you put it here. This is your test execution period. You mention it here. You mention here test execution period. There. So and then in actually in execution details you come here. Let's put execution summary. Instead of execution details you put execution summary, and then you come here in your analysis. If you go back to your analysis, so this is your analysis execution summary, right? You take a screenshot from here up to that. You go back to your analysis, you paste it here. Can everyone see this? Right, from this one we can see how long was the test executed. Yeah, I can say screenshot from the analysis summary. So in a brief we can see that this is the execution summary we got. Like the test was executing from 11:24 to 11:30. Then we got maximum concurrent users were 10, right? And then we can see there were 2 errors. You can see what was the number of transactions we executed. Now I am going to do, if you come here, if you come to your analysis, can you see tools, right? Can you see configure SLA? From analysis page, can you see configure SLA? Now you go to configure SLA. Now can you see new? Click on new, click on next, and percentile, transaction response time percentile, click next. Now what is the transaction? We have open application, right? You bring it. We have click on sign up, you bring it. We have input info and submit, you bring it. Click next. Now for open application, what was the expected time? For open application, what was the expected time? 1 second. For opening application we have 1 second. For click on sign up, we have 1 second. For input information and submit, 2, right? 2. Let's say, yeah, we are putting the time here, right? Now, actually, let me do a little bit modification. Let's say for this transaction, our expectation is 0.3 seconds. Take a look here. For this transaction where we are clicking on sign up, what is our expectation? 0.3 seconds. Okay. Then you come here. You go to your analysis. In your analysis, in your SLA definition, for this click sign up, what is your expectation? 0.3. Can you see how I am giving the time? Then you click next. Finish.
Why I cannot able to do? I think now.
Hold on. Hey, yes. Yes. Could you please take it? All right. So, Nafisa Babi, so was I able to answer your question? Could you hear me?
Thomas, I got my question of this SLA. I understood this SLA. In the middle of the work, even though you update and modify, it's gonna affect the summary report. It's gonna update and adjust the summary report.
Yeah, it will be automatically update and adjust the report.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Put errors per second. Now, how did I brought that errors per second in the analysis? If you take a look here, I right click, add new graph, and then add new graph. I have selected errors per second, right? In that way. And what I did for each of the graph, I have clicked copy graph, right? You can add another. Can you see transaction summary, right? For each of the transaction action, open application, for each of the transaction we have the transaction summary. Let's bring this transaction summary as well in our analysis report. So if I go to my, let me put another graph here, insert, duplicate slide, and transaction summary, and then I'm going to remove this, paste it here. Okay, so if you take a look from the beginning, now let's do a presentation here. When your performance testing is done, you do a presentation to the corresponding teams, right? You give them an overview like what you get from your performance testing. Now this is our view page, like what is this project about, what is this report about, and then first we give an application overview, what is this application about, and then we provide performance overview, what we are going to do in this performance test, what is the purpose of performance testing, and then we do execution summary, what we got in the execution summary, and then we put each of the graph so that people can understand what we did in the test, how we did it. So hits per second, throughput, okay, transaction response time, errors per second, transaction summary, and then our observation, recommendation. And then we, obviously after you prepare your report, you will have to save it. So where do you want to save it? To your specific place where you want to save it, you go there, and normally I save it where? In our performance testing folder. So here I will be giving a meaningful name, 2016, and then 1225 performance test execution report for web tools application. Okay, now what is the question? Let me know your question. So far we did in our class today, we have worked on our existing script. We have included some new condition. We have learned how to set up parameter files, how to set up multiple parameters in the same file, right? After that, we have executed that test from controller. We have run what we have learned, what is run until and what is learned for a duration. We have learned during execution how we can view errors, right? And then we have analyzed the result, prepare a sample report. I think fair enough for today, right? So our last class on this topic will be 1st of January. I'll be answering your question. Also, I'll be doing a little bit more on analysis and preparing report. But what I expect from you guys, you watch my video. I'm already recording. It is being recorded. You watch it. You prepare your report. You execute your test, and you bring your report as a homework. And then we will review your homework. Also, we will be discussing new topics on 1st of January in our next class. Alright. That's all for today. And
Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to clarify something. Are you having class on next Sunday?
what is the date on that day?
Yes, the 1st of January.
Yes, we are having class.
Okay.
We are having class, and we are having an exam in the following Sunday. As I said previously, right? We have the research.
This
Well-
Sunday,
What is the test
usually
about?
everybody whole class.
Whole class.
Because we will not come in.
You
This is our first time, the whole entire year.
They
We have
never
said-
missed any class.
So that's next year, not this year.
Okay, next year. Then, if you are
You will-
not coming,
as
you
far
can
as
join
I-
from online.
So as far as I spoke to other folks, they all have some
What
plans
is the
for
test
first
going to
of
be
January.
about?
Okay.
Including me too. I'm not gonna, shoot it over. And